Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Lynette Breedlove, the director of the Carol Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science in Kentucky, and I welcome you to our graduation exercises as we celebrate the growth and accomplishments of these exceptional students. We are honored today to have Professor Walker Rutledge carrying the mace, an honor bestowed upon the longest-serving full-time faculty member. Professor Rutledge plays an important role in Gatton Academy students' experiences as he leads Gatton Academy's Summer Study Abroad program in Harlexton, England, and writes more college letters of recommendation than anyone on campus. We're also honored to have President Gary Ransdell joining us this afternoon. President Ransdell was instrumental in the establishment of the Gatton Academy. His long support of the Center for Gifted Studies laid the foundation for the decade of vision and advocacy work he did with Dr. Julia Roberts and others to secure the legislative funding and support of our school. Dr. Ransdell's leadership ensured Gatton students were welcome across the classrooms, across campus, and laboratories, in workrooms and in workshops everywhere on campus. They're embraced as WKU students and have value on this campus. Dr. Ransdell's support for the Gatton Academy has not diminished over our 10-year history. He's continued to seek opportunities for our students. He was instrumental in the expansion of the Academy to serve more students from across the Commonwealth and work to increase our funding as well. Dr. Ransdell also made certain the Gatton Academy students were specifically considered for the Early Assurance program that is now part of the new medical school being established here in Bowling Green. President Ransdell is retiring this year after 20 years of visionary service as president of WKU. The Gatton Academy is part of his legacy of leadership in the Commonwealth. Please help me thank President Ransdell and welcome him to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Breedlove, very much. This is something I wanted to do today as we go through a series of undergraduate commencement ceremonies in Diddle Arena, where Dr. Rutledge and I will be heading in just a moment for a robing in about 20 minutes. But this is a special opportunity on the 10th anniversary of our Gatton Academy to congratulate these students who have spent these last 2 years on our campus bringing intellectual energy and absolute undergraduate research capacity to our campus that you all have shared among each other, but also with all of the students at Western Kentucky University. So I want to thank you for being part of our university, and whether you will continue at WKU to complete a bachelor's degree and who knows what graduate degrees, or whether you continue your university studies elsewhere, congratulations to each of you on what you've been able to achieve and what you brought to this university campus, this intellectual community. Dr. Breedlove is right. This is one of the great sources of pride for me as I look back on these last 20 years and what together this faculty and our administration and staff have been able to achieve, bringing the Gatton Academy to this university, knowing that only WKU in the Commonwealth of Kentucky was in a position to host such an academy for highly gifted and talented young minds. And fortunately, the General Assembly agreed with that vision and supported its establishment here, and continues to be supportive in making this experience possible for each of the students that come our way. And I am proud to work with my very dear friend Bill Gatton to continue to expand the Gatton Academy and the wonderful new space that you students have been able to enjoy for this past year as we've grown the Academy to accommodate now 200 students as we welcome our class of 100 this fall. So the Gatton Academy continues to gain strength, and yes, the national accolades and #1 high school this and Washington Post that, and all that's wonderful. But all that means is people are noticing the good work coming out of the Gatton Academy, and that's a compliment to the faculty who makes that possible, that serve as your mentors, and the work that you yourselves perform in our classrooms, in our laboratories, day in and day out. So this has been an honor for me. It is one of those things in which I take great pride during my 20-year presidency, and so I am honored to go out with you guys And so I wish you the very best in all that you attempt, and thank you for bringing richness not only to the intellectual life of this university, but to me personally as well, as I've come to know many of you over the course of these last 2 years. So parents, congratulations to each of you. You know, the apples don't fall far from the tree. And what you have created in a nurturing environment for these young minds. And we understand the sacrifices you have made to send your sons and daughters off to WKU to pursue something that will forever be important in their intellectual development, these young minds. Thank you for trusting us at a critical time in their life to do something special as they begin to achieve their full intellectual potential. And that's what I hope we've done here, put you in a position to achieve your full intellectual potential. So, Dr. Roberts, Dr. Breedlove, thank you for your leadership, to the faculty and to the staff of the Gatton Academy. Thank you all for what you continue to do day in, day out for these outstanding students. As I've said many times, because of you, and because of our Honors College, and because of other things that we've been able to create in recent years, we've created the intellectual heartbeat for Kentucky right here at WKU, and the Gatton Academy is an important part of that heartbeat. So thank you. Have a great commencement. I'm going to go down and graduate 2,600 other students that are going to be wearing red today. So thank you all very much, and have a terrific afternoon. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, President Ransdell and Professor Rutledge, for joining our ceremony this afternoon. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and join Miss Brittany Carter-Whitlow in the singing of our national anthem. Academy and Western Kentucky University, our faculty, staff, and these impressive students gathered before us, I welcome all of you who've gathered here to pay tribute to our 2017 graduating class. I'd like to give special recognition to our quintet for the beautiful music they are providing this afternoon. Members include Natalie Adcock, Troy Puckett, Christy Shores, Joe Stites, and Matthew White. And before we continue, would you please silence your cell phones to preserve the decorum of our ceremony. Today is a day of celebration and reflection. Looking back over the past 2 years brings a rush of emotions. These students have taken the most rigorous curriculum offered to any high school students in the nation. They left the comfort of their homes and established a level of independence that will impact their lives forever. They have also forged new friendships, which will grow exponentially in the years to come. All of these experiences have laid a foundation from which these exceptional young people can build lives of purpose, meaning, and service. Of the many things these students have pursued, one particular area of significance is the research in which they've been involved. The faculty with us today have mentored these students as they explored such areas as new technologies in chemistry, unknown frontiers in astronomy and physics, potential medical breakthroughs in biology, life-enhancing concepts in engineering, and unique applications in math and computer science. These powerful learning environments have brought relevance to these areas of advanced learning. As we embrace this day of celebration, we can all take pride in the accomplishments of these outstanding students. Today, we would like to recognize different groups who've been instrumental in the lives of our graduates. I would ask that you hold your applause until all members of a specific group have been recognized. So we begin by recognizing and welcoming local legislators. It's been through the support of these and numerous other members of the Kentucky's General Assembly that this opportunity was made available to students. Their investment is already making a difference in preparing students for advanced careers in the Commonwealth. At this time, I invite any legislators in attendance to please rise so that we may acknowledge and thank you. I'm not sure if we have any who've joined us. Well, let's thank them anyway, because we are really appreciative. Next, we welcome special members of the Western Kentucky University Administration who've been a vital success to the Gatton Academy. So if you're an administrator with WKU, would you please rise? It's also fitting that recognition be given to the individuals who've provided outstanding instruction and guidance for these graduates, both in the classroom and as mentors in research. With the exceptional support of these incredible teachers, research mentors, and brilliant minds, the Academy thrives. So at this time, I would ask that all faculty members stand so that we may recognize you and express our appreciation for what you have accomplished with these students. Members of the Gatton Academy administration are the next to be recognized. These men and women give unselfishly of their time and talent to love, support, and guide our remarkable students. With us today are Mrs. Chelsea Dalcourt, our counselor, Ms. April Gasky, coordinator of student success, Mrs. Tracy Harkins, coordinator of college counseling, Ms. Beth Hawk, assistant director of residential life, Ms. Denitra Hodge, coordinator of student activities, Ms. Laura Johnson, coordinator of alumni relations and recruitment, Mrs. Cheryl Kirby-Stokes, coordinator of academic opportunities, Mr. Zach Ryle, our assistant director of admissions and public relations, Dr. Derek Strode, assistant director of academic services, and missing today is Dr. Pokey Bowen, who is our assistant director for counseling services, who is attending his son's high school graduation. Would you please help me in giving them a round of applause? I would also like to extend a special word of gratitude to our residential life staff. These are the individuals who have created a second home for our students. Their dedication and enthusiasm has produced a warm, safe, productive environment within which our students develop important life skills. Ms. Tamaya Dickerson, Ms. Tori Hampton, Ms. Chloe Muller, Mr. Ben Popham, Mr. Jacob Roberts, Ms. Morgan Rogers, Mr. Alex Sorrells, and Mr. Nick Zolman. Would you please stand so that we can give you a round of applause? Next, we recognize our alumni who have taken their Gatton Academy experience to new levels. With so many demands on their time, we are happy that some have joined us for today's festivities. Would our alumni who are here today please rise? Gatton Academy has partnered with approximately 200 public high schools from across the Commonwealth. We exist as an extension of every district, school, and classroom across the state. We are fortunate to have superintendents, administrators, counselors, and teachers from across Kentucky who partner with us to meet the needs of high ability and gifted and talented students. These advocates play an important role. Working from the foundation laid in early years, these educators continue to ensure student successes. If you are a teacher, counselor, or administrator from a sending institution, would you please rise? Finally, I want to recognize the people who helped these students seize an opportunity that required substantial thought and sacrifice. They stepped out in faith in the knowledge that this opportunity would be the right place for their students to learn and grow. 2 years ago, they were the ones who carried boxes and dorm-sized refrigerators into Bates Runner Hall, leaving behind their 15 and 16-year-olds, trusting their children and trusting the Gatton Academy. Throughout the 2 years, they have supported and encouraged their students. They have been advocates from the Gatton Academy from day one, and we owe much of the success that is ahead to their support and aid. When you think back to move-in day, isn't it impressive how much these graduates have grown in only 2 years? I would like for all parents and guardians of today's graduates to please stand and remain standing. Would all grandparents of today's graduates please stand? And finally, would all relatives and friends of today's graduates please stand? Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, Dr. Julia Roberts, Executive Director of the Gatton Academy and the Center for Gifted Studies, will come forward for remarks. Dr. Roberts defines advocacy. Her diligence and perseverance are why we are here today. So please help me welcome to the podium Dr. Julia Roberts.
I am honored to join the welcoming remarks to you who are the 10th graduating class of the Carol Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science. Wow, where did those 10 years go? I want to welcome all of the people who have made such an important part of the experience, the faculty of WKU, the staff of the Gatton Academy, parents of the graduates, and certainly most of all, those of you who are in the graduating class this particular year. In 1997, and that's a long time ago now, the idea of a Kentucky school with a focus on math and science was but a dream. Dr. Charles Magruder, a professor of physics at WKU, and I wrote a small proposal to initiate thinking about such a school. Of course, a statewide residential high school focusing on math and science was not a new idea. North Carolina has had such a school since 1980. So the idea was not new, but it was new to Kentucky. A decade of advocacy and planning preceded the first students arriving at the Carol Martin Gatton Academy. And that, of course, was in 2007, 10 years ago, right now. The story continues with you who are sitting in the front rows. You, as the 2017 graduates of the Gatton Academy, are the first senior class to enjoy living in the lovely expanded Schneider Hall, which, by the way, is paid for with private funding. And isn't that good news? The Gatton Academy is certainly a public-private partnership. Gatton Academy graduates, you have created an exceptional record your 2 years as you have completed high school and launched your college career simultaneously. You have engaged in research, presenting at conferences and sharing your research at the Undergraduate Research Conference at WKU, as well as conferences across the country. You've traveled the world, with many of you studying and enjoying time at Harlexton, exploring the rainforest of Costa Rica and other places in the world. I thoroughly enjoyed time traveling with some of you in Greece this winter, and it is a joy to recognize you as graduates of the Gatton Academy. Everyone here has played a significant role in the success of the Gatton Academy. Parents and family members, you have made the Gatton Academy a reality as you have trusted the Academy's vision and mission, as well as the staff, to be everything they said they would be. Faculty at WKU, your dedication to excellence in teaching and research has provided the academic preparation for Academy students to soar. Gatton Academy staff, you've provided the steady support for the Academy students day by day. Please remember that without the interest and ongoing support of members of the General Assembly, the Gatton Academy would not exist, and I would hope all of you would thank your members of the Kentucky General Assembly. The Gatton Academy, with the support of all of you, has become the beacon of excellence as we hoped it would be. We planned for that concept, but it was but an idea, and now it's a reality. Graduates, although you are being recognized as high school graduates today, you are atypical high school graduates. Congratulations to each of you.
In this, our 10th year, the students of the Gatton Academy have built upon the initial foundation and have excelled in their endeavors in and out of the classroom. This afternoon, we honor 59 graduating seniors as part of the Academy's class of 2017. They have continued to establish the path that countless classes will follow. They will leave this campus today as ambassadors for the Gatton Academy while growing as innovators for this great commonwealth. The following students have been selected by the senior class to share reflections from their experiences and to look ahead toward the coming years. Our first speaker, Ms. Haley Dicken, is a graduating senior from Jamestown in Russell County. Haley is thoughtful and conscientious. She was recognized as an Emperor Science Award winner and has participated in oncology and gerontology research. In addition, she studied abroad with Gatton 3 times. So please welcome to the podium, Ms. Haley Dicken.
Two years can change a lot. From birth to 2 years, we changed incredibly. We learned to walk. We learned to talk. We learned to see the world differently than we had ever before. Through the intermediate seasons of our lives, we've all changed in various ways, but never so drastically as those first 2 years. Much like the first, the past 2 years of our lives have sparked radical change. We've learned to walk again with greater confidence and self-assurance. We've learned to talk again with greater intelligence and passion for what we love and what we believe in. We learned to see the world differently than we had ever before, with greater respect and compassion for each other and the world. The Gatton Academy has given us more than we could have ever asked for or imagined. Our journey began the fall of 2015. We had to leave our homes and our previous lives to discover a new home and transition into a new life. This was a new life not only for us, the students, but for the staff and for the school itself. New RCs and other staff members were hired, and we, of course, had the expansion. However, the greatest transition wasn't the new building, the new juniors, the new staff, or the fancy trash cans. It was us. No one has gone through Gatton without succumbing to the life-altering experience it truly is. I know that personally, I've become someone my past self wouldn't recognize. The point that I began to realize that Gatton was way more than just a school was junior retreat. As we marched through the dark on the final night, all together towards the little dock under the stars, I realized that this was home. These people, these experiences, they had started to grow on me. As I lay there, I was not only astonished by the beauty of the sky sprinkled with stars, but at the future I and my classmates had before us, just as bright as those stars. After our retreat, we came back a little closer, a little more comfortable with the next 2 or so years that lay ahead. We were treated to a unique experience in Gatton history while at Bates. We were the last class to have the equal number of 60 juniors and 60 seniors. Everything was a bit more compacted, and it forced us to get to know each other. However, we didn't mind. We quickly found living all around us were the people we would soon call our confidants, our supporters, our friends. In the winter, some of us decided to take classes, some decided to stay home, and some decided to travel. Personally, I traveled to Italy with the Academy. This was my first time out of the country, and I was incredibly excited. The experience was more than perfect. We ate the best Italian food, straight from the source, looked at probably hundreds of gilded ceilings, watched Emma struggle with Western Union, and cemented the friendships of the months before while creating new ones with classmates we had yet to discover. Our spring semester was filled with hammocking, CPS nightmares, and late-in-the-year romances. We experienced the sadness of our last with many of our juniors. Our last movie night and film club with them, our last game of volleyball with them, our last prom with them, and my last foot rub for Whitney. We loved our seniors and still do, and we were incredibly sad to see them go, but happy for the new chapter that they were about to embark on. In the summer, we researched, worked, and relaxed while we were free from classes, while some of us had a sweet ending in England. British accents and Nando's. Our senior year was vastly different. We were outnumbered. We moved to a much more roomy building where finding people became a bit more challenging and became overloaded with all of our responsibilities, from college to scholarships to summer plans. Yet we still managed to make the most of it all. We found that being outnumbered wasn't all that bad. It meant more friends and more people we could leave a mark on. We were able to travel again in the winter. As we trekked through Costa and Greece, we realized how lucky we were to travel with our best friends, or people who would become our best friends, even if only for the duration of the trip. In the spring, we rewarded our hard work in the college admissions process. Some found time to come back to hobbies that we'd long forgotten. Others took a lighter course load, and yet others decided to play on a completely defeated co-ed intramural basketball team. We soon realized the last that we'd watched our seniors have were now our reality. Our last ride in the Suburban, our last seminar, our last curfew check. Every little annoying, lovely piece of the journey would have a bittersweet end. From Bates to Florence Snyder to our study abroad locations, we realized that the term home has nothing to do with physical location. It deals more with who you share that home with. I'm lucky enough to say that I've shared my home for the past 2 years with my best friends. Whether you're glad for this end or dreading it completely, it is just another transition. Yet it is hard to realize that we won't be back together like this for a while. We won't be able to walk into the common area and say food and have a friend or two tag along. We won't be able to travel abroad at the Academy again, and we won't be able to break anybody else's arm playing Frisbee. Sorry, Matthew. But it's okay. We have before us the next chapter. one of knowns and unknowns, of ups and downs, a chapter of possibility and change. As scary as it might seem, I'm excited. I cannot wait to see what you guys become. I cannot wait to see Cat's show on Broadway and say, I saw its first reading. I cannot wait to see us all distributed throughout the world, improving it little by little. I cannot wait to see what the next 2 years hold for us, and the 2 after that, and the 2 after that. Maybe, just maybe, we use our new walk, our new talk, and our new vision gifted to us through the Gatton Academy to experience life for all it's worth.
Our second speaker is Mr. Logan Parker, a graduating senior from LaGrange in Oldham County. Logan is steadfast and outgoing. He too has studied abroad 3 times and has participated in Gatton's STEM Plus Chinese program. Logan was recently quizzed by the former director of Hanban and the Confucius Institute when she visited the Gatton Academy from Beijing. His area of research has been in chemical engineering. Please help me welcome Mr. Logan Parker to the podium.
When I was writing this speech, I was trying to find a way to summarize the Gatton experience, at least our Gatton experience. Rather than answers coming to mind, a few questions came first. I'm often asked, why did you decide to go to Gatton? And I could give them the reasons listed on the Academy's homepage: college credit, STEM classes, research, or study abroad, which these are many of the reasons that I decided to attend Gatton, as I'm sure many of my classmates did as well. But a much more important and pertinent question they should ask is, why did you decide to stay? Now, I don't want to take away from the reasons I mentioned before, because they are very much a part of everyone's experience here and have shaped us to who we are today. And I could go on for hours about the benefits of each, but they alone are not enough to keep us here. Rather, the people sitting in front of the stage are the basis for staying here. These are the kind of people who enjoy staying up till 6 a.m. to walk to Waffle House to eat some mediocre breakfast food. The kind of people who pull all-nighters in hopes of finishing some work, but instead just stay up all night talking with friends about whatever comes to mind. The kind of people who make it their personal goal to help Beth improve the handbook by pushing the limits of the rules. Or possibly the reason staying here is the distinct personality of each wing, otherwise known as wing culture, that allows you to be around the people who may share similar interests to your own. The people you meet here and friends that you make here are just not present at home. These are some of the many unspoken reasons why I decided to stay, and I'm sure this rings true with many of my classmates too. Our story together began Adventure Week of 2015, a time of meeting new faces and the beginning of a new chapter. Since then, we have each taken our own path through Gatton, whether that be our different class schedules, clubs, hobbies, research, or study abroad. Although we go in various directions, some of our paths will cross while at Gatton, and during those times are when the best and most defining moments occur. It could have possibly been stargazing with Pokey at junior retreat, seeing turtles in Costa Rica, or for many, not seeing turtles in Costa Rica. It could have been sweating through your suit at prom, seeing Eileen fall into a waterfall at the moors in England, or it could have been as simple as just going out to eat with friends. I always hear my classmates say, it's nice being around people that think the same as I do. Which I don't mean to offend those who say that, but saying we all share the same thought process is an insult to not only our characters, but to the community that we built over the past 2 years. One of the greatest aspects of Gatton is the diversity in thought present within the student body. We each have our own background, our own dreams, and our own passions. So yes, while we do share some similarities, our differences are what truly make Gatton remarkable. Here at Gatton, we are supposed to be engineers, mathematicians, and scientists, which many of us will one day become, but we are so much more than that. Among us is a playwright, a filmmaker, a pilot, an author, and even supposedly the world's strongest man alive. We, the 10th graduating class of the Gatton Academy, there's never been a class quite like ours, and there will never be a class similar to our own. We are the class that took on the challenge of living in Bates for our junior year, a building that was plagued with a lack of common areas and an abundance of angry college students mad at us for taking their dorm. Then we had to teach 100 new students about wing culture, while we ourselves had never experienced it either. There are traditions and habits that string together each class with the next, but the combination of people sitting here today are like no other. All of these differences seemingly should divide us, but they do the complete opposite. Our differences unite us in a mix of curiosity, harmony, and exceptionality. But in such an extraordinary circumstance, there's no one path to take. We don't have an instruction manual or a roadmap telling us how to live this journey. All we have is our wit, values, and gut instinct. We each have our own unique favorite memory, class schedule, friend group, and many other factors that accumulate to our own definition of Gatton, which is different from all of our classmates. Trying to summarize the Gatton experience in one speech is like finishing your CPS project in the last week. It is possible, but you'll have a lot of errors. So if someone ever asks you about the Gatton experience, don't be afraid to tell them what you've gone through, what your friends were like, and what life was like here. But also tell them that the only way to truly experience Gatton is to live it.
Thank you, Logan and Haley, for sharing your thoughts and reflections with us. At this time, Dr. Derek Strode will come to the podium to introduce our commencement speaker. Dr. Strode works tirelessly to ensure that students have rich opportunities to study abroad and to fine-tune their interests through faculty-mentored research. So please welcome Dr. Derek Strode to the podium.
Well, it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Julia Carter, our invited graduation speaker. Nearly since the Gatton Academy first opened its doors in 2007, our students have been going to Newport, Kentucky to carry out summer internships at the Hudson Cancer Research Lab. Dr. Carter attended Wellesley University and then went on to receive her PhD in physiology from Rutgers University. She is a founder and president of Hudson Cancer Research Lab. Hudson is an independent, not-for-profit, publicly supported research institute dedicated to understanding the causes, diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of cancer. The Hudson mission includes training undergraduate students in cancer research. Nearly 290 undergraduates have participated in the undergraduate research education program since 1982. Over 85% of these participants have subsequently chosen careers in science or medicine, and 52% of them have gone on to receive doctoral degrees. Dr. Carter has authored 35 peer-reviewed publications in the cancer research field. She has 94 published abstracts from presentations around the country, and she's authored 60 posters and invited lectures, and many of these publications, presentations, posters, and lectures have directly involved students as co-authors. Hudson has welcomed Gatton Academy students into their amazing internship program. The Gatton Academy students who have participated have great research experiences and great mentorship in common. Hannah Graff, an alumni of the Gatton Academy who interned at Hudson for 2 summers, recently wrote about Dr. Carter. I learned so much about science and breast cancer, but also about analyzing journal articles, presenting research, and how results do not always turn out like you expect. Dr. Carter helped prepare me for my future in science and medicine. Nolan Calhoun, a Gatton Academy alumnus, described Dr. Carter as possessing a never-ending passion for science and said she instilled in him the ability to pursue the scientific dream. It's my honor to welcome Dr. Carter.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to your commencement. My thanks go to Dr. Strode and to the Academy for the honor and the opportunity to speak with you today. You may be wondering who I am and why I was invited to speak at this auspicious occasion. Well, Dr. Strode has just told you. Actually, I and the organization I represent, Hudson Cancer Research Laboratory, have been host to Gatton Academy students for the past 10 years, ever since 2008. I was born in New Jersey, grew up in Connecticut, and was educated in Massachusetts. My first experience in cancer research was when I had a summer internship at Cancer Research Institute of New England Deaconess Hospital in Boston. After graduation, I returned to the Cancer Research Institute to continue work on cancer research, working as a research assistant. While working at the Cancer Research Institute, I met Dr. Harry W. Carter, a pathologist. Following our marriage, we began our trek southward. My husband came from Tennessee. Along the way, I learned a master's degree and a PhD in physiology at Rutgers University, and had postdoctoral training in cell physiology at the Bureau of Biological Research in Rutgers. In January 1981, following a move to Cleveland, Harry and I, as well as our friend Dr. Larry Douglas, and my uncle Sidney A. Wood, founded Hudson Cancer Research Laboratory, an independent, not-for-profit, publicly supported organization dedicated to understanding the causes, diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of cancer. We're one of only 12 independent research organizations dedicated to cancer and one of 82 independent institutes throughout the country, the only one in Kentucky, and because most of these independent research institutes are in the Northeast or California. On Derby Day 1984, Harry received a letter from St. Elizabeth Medical Center in Covington, Kentucky, inquiring about a position to lead the Department of Laboratory Medicine as they expanded to their new South Unit in Edgewood. As they say, the rest is history. The relocation of the Hudson Cancer Research Laboratory to Covington was complete by 1985 with the renovation of a former corner drugstore into a laboratory. In 1990, the lab purchased the former Corpus Christi School building in Newport, thus expanding its research capabilities. Working in collaboration with St. Elizabeth Healthcare and the Christ Hospital in Cincinnati, Hudson Cancer Research Laboratory developed a biospecimen repository that preserves and protects over 2 million surgical specimens, including tumors from 65,000 cancer patients, for research and education purposes. It's one of the largest collections in this country and can only be compared to large medical centers. As a result, scientists at Hudson Cancer Research Lab have studied over 14 forms of cancer. The Hudson mission includes training undergraduate students in cancer research. As Dr. Strode mentioned, nearly 200 undergraduates have participated in our undergraduate program, and these have come from 40 different colleges and universities across the country. Over 85% of these students have subsequently chosen careers in science and medicine, and 52% of both men and women UREP participants have subsequently received doctoral degrees. Approximately 54% of our former students are now working in healthcare, and another 42% are working as scientists or teachers. A few have become lawyers. We are honored to have had an outstanding Gatton Academy student participating in our research projects over the past 10 years, and look forward to a continued collaboration with your school as it meets the needs of exceptionally talented students in Kentucky. Sadly, Harry passed away in 2000. We have 2 married sons, Dr. Percy Carter, a medicinal chemist, and Dr. Sidney Carter, a professional geologist. As your commencement speaker, I want to congratulate you on your academic achievement and a job well done. I was so impressed to hear the awards last night and the recognition of your accomplishments. As you move into even greater academic challenges and opportunities, I want to encourage you to be a dreamer. I also want to thank Always Dreaming for winning the Kentucky Derby last week. He certainly provided a current example of my point. The headlines in the New York Post read, "Always Dreaming makes Brooklyn boys' Derby dreams come true." Vincent Viola and Anthony Bonomo became pals when they were 6 years old, growing up in Brooklyn, New York. Can you imagine what it takes for a couple of boys to grow up in Brooklyn, New York, and to become the owners of a Kentucky Derby winner? It takes dreams. As Mr. Bonomo said, we have won the Kentucky Derby many times, but never in reality. I guess dreams do come true. You have to have a dream. Most of us are familiar with Dr. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream" speech, which he gave in 1963. Did Dr. King's dream of desegregation come true? Of course it did, and it's changed our country. Almost everything we encounter in our daily lives is the result of someone's dream. Everything from Kraft cheese to JW Marriott hotels to Nike shoes are the result of a single person's dream. I'm a first-generation American who stands here today because my widowed grandmother decided at the age of 45 to bring her 9 children, including my mother, who was 3 at the time, to America with a dream of a better life for her family. And my father came to this country as a young man of 21 with a dream of making it in America. He left Ellis Island in New York Harbor with 25 cents and a vow not to return to England until he had made a success. He went back to England many times. As future scientists, engineers, physicians, clergymen, lawyers, teachers, and business people living in a free country, you have the opportunity for your dreams to improve the lives of many people here in Kentucky, nationally and worldwide. But you have to have a dream to make a dream come true. My second point is that you must never lose sight of or let go of your dream. Dr. Mary Ellen Avery was a physician at a time when most women did not have the opportunity to have a medical career as a physician. Most girls interested in science became teachers or nurses. Not that there's anything wrong with those professions. In 1952, Dr. Avery was one of 3 women in the Johns Hopkins Medical School graduating class, a class of 90. Harvard Medical School did not admit women at that time. However, she later joined the faculty of Harvard Medical School as professor of pediatrics and was the first woman named physician-in-chief at Boston's Children's Hospital. President George Bush presented her with the National Medal of Science in recognition for her scientific contributions. Dr. Avery was driven to become a physician because of her desire to find a solution to the lung disease, respiratory disease syndrome. That resulted in the premature deaths of 10,000 babies each year. She did become a physician, and she did find the solution to respiratory disease syndrome, a solution that is estimated to have saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of babies. Dr. Avery has characterized scientific research as something that can lead to discouragement. She said, "You can either quit or say, I will start over. If it's a question that's worth pursuing, it's probably worth continuing to pursue." She also said, the most important attributes of a sentiment are first, to know what your goals are, and second, not to be easily discouraged. Walt Disney put the sentiment the same way. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Michael Sidney A. Wood, who was one of the founders of Wood Hudson Cancer Research Laboratory back in 1981, wrote a letter to the editor of the New York Times about Calvin Coolidge, our 30th president. President Coolidge, who was from Vermont, was elected in part by Kentuckians. Kentucky was the only southern state that voted for him. Uncle Sid's letter was about President Coolidge's belief in the omnipotence of persistence. I will read this letter to you, and it's very relevant as you begin the next stage of your academic career. A letter printed in August 15th speaks of the legendary taciturnity of Calvin Coolidge. Yet Silent Cal made over 130 speeches and often wrote to newspapers and magazines. He was firmly convinced of the value of persistence, and in a most remarkable letter he wrote, "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than the unsuccessful man with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, 'Press on,' has solved and will always solve the problems of the human race." President Coolidge was remembered as a good and decent man, and one who gave a lifetime of productive service to his town, his state, and his country. Finally, let me say that you are Kentucky's dream team. I belong to an organization, the American Association for Cancer Research, which has 37,000 members, that works with people in Hollywood who raise funds for cancer research through the Stand Up to Cancer program. Perhaps you've seen the promotional material for Stand Up to Cancer. Each year, the American Association for Cancer Research selects a team of scientists from multiple universities across the country to be a dream team to attack a major cancer-related problem. Like these scientists, you have been selected from students across Kentucky to have the opportunity for an exceptional education. An education that is funded by the public and by individual interested Kentuckians. They and we, your teachers and advisors, are expecting you to help solve some of the challenges encountered by the people living in Kentucky, and to be part of making Kentucky an even greater commonwealth than it currently is. In the not too distant future, Kentucky will be looking to you and to your generation for the statesmen who will represent the people of Kentucky in the U.S. Congress, and leaders who will represent fellow Kentuckians in Kentucky legislature and in towns and counties across the Commonwealth. We will be looking to you and your generation to bring the best medical care to our citizens and to help advance medical science and find cures that will have an impact not only in Kentucky, but also nationally and globally. We will look to you to be the teachers of the next generation and the innovators and the entrepreneurs who will bring new approaches to agriculture and industries to help the Kentucky economy and the citizens of our Commonwealth. Many of you will be part of this forward march. The future of our Commonwealth is in your hands, and we are expecting great things from you. Dream big, be persistent, and never lose sight of your dreams. I close with congratulations to you, your families, and your teachers on this most auspicious occasion of your graduation from the Carol Martin Gatton Academy of Science and Mathematics on this, the 10th anniversary of your school. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carter, for inspiring us and our graduates to dream big and be persistent in pursuing those dreams. So I now ask Mr. Zach Rowell to come to the podium, and he will give instructions about the individual recognition of our graduates.
I now request that the marshals bring the graduates forward. This is the special time in the ceremony in which we recognize each student individually for their accomplishments. We are thankful to have with us today a professional photographer who will be taking photos of each graduate as they receive their diploma. We request that you refrain from coming to the stage to take pictures. In addition, you are asked to please refrain from blocking the view of others by standing to take pictures. Ethan Jefferson Abadi, son of Jeffrey and Elizabeth Abadi, a graduate from Boone County. Titi Ahmed, daughter of Aziz Ahmed and Muina Sultana, a graduate from Barron County. Katie Lynn Alexander, daughter of Craig and Stacy Alexander, a graduate from Jefferson County. Catherine Rose Ashley, daughter of Don and Diane Ashley, a graduate from Whitley County. Alexander Jarek Banazak, son of Terry and Colleen Banazak, a graduate from Oldham County. James Matthew Biddle, son of Joseph Biddle Sr. and Mary Biddle, a graduate from Meade County. Caroline Elizabeth Boone, daughter of John and Camille Boone, a graduate from Nelson County. Robert Joseph Bosch, son of Frank and Jennifer Bosch, a graduate from McCracken County. Karthik Nagasai Boyaredigari, son of Sunil and Prashanthi Boyaredigari, a graduate from Warren County. Xavier Knight Burkeen, son of David and Kimberly Burkeen, a graduate from Graves County. Matthew Ryan Broadbent, son of Jeffrey and Tammy Broadbent, a graduate from Trigg County. Catherine N. Brown, daughter of Peter and Elizabeth Brown, a graduate from Jefferson County. Mark A. Carrender, son of Harold and Virgilia Carrender, a graduate from Pulaski County. Amber Nicole Carroll, daughter of Doug Carroll and Jennifer Beadle, a graduate from Logan County. Mark Nicholas Clark, son of Robert and Rebecca Clark, a graduate from Oldham County. Leah Rhiannon Connor, daughter of Aaron Connor and Eric Spencer, a graduate from Madison County and Berea Community. Matthew Blake Courtright, son of David and Jennifer Courtright, a graduate from Marion County. Mackenzie K. Daniels, daughter of Matthew and Lisette Daniels, a graduate from Edmonson County. Reese William Kading Dancer, son of Stephen Danzer and Carrie Kading, a graduate from Boone County. Zechariah Dylan Rue Doherty, son of Tondra and Deborah Doherty, a graduate from Hopkins County. Haley Elizabeth Dicken, daughter of Eric and Kimberly Dicken, a graduate from Russell County. Katie Lane Forgy, daughter of Ryan and Emily Forgy, a graduate from Bullitt County. Parker Henry Graff, son of David and Carolyn Graff, a graduate from Campbell County. Cherish Faith Gray, daughter of James and Donna Miller, a graduate from Knox County. Honor Suzanne Hare, daughter of Timothy and Janelle Hare, a graduate from Rowan County. Presley Alexandra Henshaw, daughter of Dale and Kara Henshaw, a graduate from Union County. Ruth Adele Hughes, daughter of Andrew and Karen Hughes, a graduate from Mercer County. Julia Ann Johnson, daughter of Bill and Delinda Johnson, a graduate from Todd County. Veronica Claire Johnson, daughter of Darren Johnson and Patricia Beresford, a graduate from Warren County. Cordelia McDougall Jones, daughter of Trevor Jones and Catherine McDougall, a graduate from Franklin County. Evan Thomas Kessler, son of Bruce and Heather Kessler, a graduate from Warren County. Sharafkan Khan, son of Rizwan and Huma Khan, a graduate from Christian County. Jonathan David Kennard, son of Stephen and Victoria Kennard, a graduate from Christian County. Aaron Thomas Kirtland, son of Robert and Rebecca Kirtland, a graduate from Oldham County. Longji Lee, son of Jeff Wang and Jiapong Yong Zhong, a graduate from Warren County. Benjamin James Luckett, son of Daniel and Wendy Luckett, a graduate from Woodford County. Jacob Kyle McDavid, son of William and Susan McDavid, a graduate from Carter County. William Mason Miller, son of Will and Stacy Miller, a graduate from Harlan County. Samuel Zachary Newton, son of Mark and Lana Newton, a graduate from Hardin County. Logan Bailey Parker, son of Jason Parker and Heather Churchman, a graduate from Oldham County. Clara Grace Posgay, daughter of Walter and Margaret Posgay, a graduate from Nelson County. Ayush Prasad, son of Aparna and Yogendra Prasad, a graduate from Greenup County. Eileen Elizabeth Price, daughter of Rob and Ellen Price, a graduate from Jefferson County. Emma Suzanne Reed, daughter of Mark and Charlotte Reed, a graduate from Campbell County. Jenna Ray Rowlett, daughter of Douglas and Melissa Rowlett, a graduate from Trimble County. Sarah Saeed, daughter of Osman Saeed and Samia Ali, a graduate from Jefferson County. Taylor Elise Sine, daughter of Mike and Jeannie Sine, a graduate from Hardin County. Tyler Hart Smith, son of Michael and Trish Smith, a graduate from Fayette County. John Caleb Stickney, son of Jack and Teresa Stickney, a graduate from Estill County. Patricia Marie Thompson, daughter of Albert and Molly Thompson, a graduate from Davis County. Alexa Ann Towns, daughter of Lisa Towns, a graduate from Perry County. Olivia Urso, daughter of Timothy Urbanski and Ann Elizabeth Sohaki, a graduate from Gallatin County. Mia Jo Weaver, daughter of Samuel Weaver and Amy Poteet, a graduate from Greenup County. Jessica Marie Williams, daughter of Scott and Allison Williams, a graduate from Boone County. Gabrielle Tessa Witt, daughter of David and Pam Witt, a graduate from Campbell County. Elizabeth Grace Yates, daughter of Mark and Suzetta Yates, a graduate from Fayette County. Taylor Dale Young, son of Jason and Stacy Young, a graduate from Marshall County. Amanda Nicole Zahn, daughter of Stephen and Andrea Zahn, a graduate from Boone County. At this time, friends and guests, it is my great pleasure to present to you the members of the Carroll Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science in Kentucky's class of 2017. Dr. Breedlove, these candidates have completed the requirements for a high school diploma prescribed by the Gatton Academy in conformity to the standards of the Kentucky Department of Education. On behalf of Western Kentucky University, the Gatton Academy, and each student sending institution, I extend these students congratulations and the earnest pride we feel towards each of them for having accomplished this milestone.
The platform party and the faculty please rise. It is with pleasure that I recommend to you that the appropriate status be conferred upon these candidates who, by the application of their abilities to their assigned duties, have completed the prescribed program of study and have demonstrated their qualifications for high recognition. Will the members of the class of 2017 please rise? As the 10th graduating class of the Carroll Martin Gatton Academy of Mathematics and Science in Kentucky, you are the true avatars of the Academy's spirit. As you have received from this institution, so it is your responsibility to give back to the generations of students yet to come. Your support will be invaluable to the success of this school and to the Commonwealth of Kentucky. At this time, to signify your accomplishments and your change in status from student to graduate, please move your tassel from the right side of your mortarboard to the left, placing them over your heart. I want to contributed to the planning of this ceremony. I would also like to extend an invitation to all of you, our Gatton Academy family, to attend our 10th anniversary celebration and Eclipse Festival this summer on August 21st. We have a weekend of events planned for our alumni that culminates in a festival open to all Gatton friends and family to observe the total solar eclipse. We look forward to seeing our alumni and their families and celebrating 10 years of excellence together. And now, please welcome once more Mrs. Brittany Carter Whitlow for the singing of our state song, My Old Kentucky Home. At the conclusion of the song, please remain standing. Would everyone please rise? Of our ceremony. Please join me in congratulating the Gatton Academy class of 2017.